Because it is somewhat common for kids with Down syndrome to be nonverbal. She actually learned sign language and would sign as a baby before she ever spoke. It was really incredible. I think it's like any other disability. I mean, there's so much stuff that she does and that she's capable of, and people don't realize it. I know she's had such a huge impact on so many people's lives because of all the stuff that she does do. And like, her personality it's just ridiculous. She's so sweet, and I think everybody kind of is blown away by what she has accomplished and continues to accomplish. You know, she's very active as well. She does a lot of stuff with Special Olympics, basketball and swimming and track and soccer and gymnastics. And yes, it's its own disability, but I think it, obviously us having our own disabilities, we know that doesn't stop. There's still so many things you can figure out how to do if you're really determined to do it. And she's just like that.
But in terms of children with special needs, you know, one thing that people don't realize is, you know, this is a little person or an older child, you know, that are kind of just fighting their own bodies, you know, especially if they have physical handicaps or, you know, mental handicaps. They honestly, they don't really, like, they know, I think they understand that they're different, different from the regular population, but it is who they are and it's the life that they lead. And so I think people have a misconception about emotions or how these children feel, or that they are unfeeling, or that they act out because they're bad, and they're not. I mean, they just sometimes don't have coping skills. They don't know what to do. And so I'm very empathetic toward parents who have children with special needs, or empathetic to even children who are crying on a plane, you know, because they're scared. They don't know how to react. That's the only coping skill they have. So I think it would be great if the world would just look at children with and without disabilities, in a way, understanding that most of the time when kids are acting out, it's because they really don't know what else to do.
Once I figured that out, it was just kind of figuring out what works for me. Because up to that point, I was basically trying to do what, quote unquote, normal, neurotypical, whatever you want to say, people do, right? Whether, you know, day-to-day processes or whatever, and trying to like get by. Doesn't work for me because my brain doesn't work that way. I didn't know that until very recently. And since then, I've just made adjustments and changes. And, you know, it's a continual process. It's never ending. But like, at least now I know, versus before it'd be like, well, why am I failing at this? Well, why is this happening? Why am I feeling this way? Like, no, now I know why. You know what I mean? Maybe I can't fix the problem, but at least I know why, and why I'm feeling it maybe a little bit more or differently from other people.
In school, I always did very well, but when it came to real life, it was, and still to this day, continues to be a struggle. Everything is so difficult. Why? Oftentimes, when I get overwhelmed, I just shut down. I will not talk, because I can't talk to people because I feel like they do not understand. So I would just shut down, and I call it my mute mode. Like, when my family or friends try to contact me, oh, Katrina's not responding back. She must be on mute mode. And I could go no talking for 3, 6, 9 months. And for me, that's perfectly fine. But for other people, they're like, well, something is wrong. What is going on? I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying to process. And I can't make sense of life right now. My therapist will always question me, well, why do you do this? Or break down what is going on in your head and just associate why your physical reactions are the result of whatever's going on emotionally and mentally. And then my therapist was like, have you ever been diagnosed with autism? I said, no, but you know, when you think about all the characteristics, I guess I might fall on the spectrum. I wouldn't know, because there's so many other barriers that come into place, such as being a woman, such as being Black, or being in certain socioeconomic situations. There's a lot that comes into it. So I can understand why people say she's spazzing out, but not understanding that there's so much more to it.
That word normal, that was a demon for me when it comes to my mental health. That word plagued me for over 10 years, and it nearly ended my life. So it's like, it's the whole living to what society expects you, or unconsciously expects you to live up to or try to measure your own self-worth to. And just, man, there was a point, you know, I say my disability is, I know I'm happy, but there was definitely a point where I hated being blind, where I hated losing my vision, and I wanted to get rid of it any way that I could, even if it meant harming myself.